I went to a pre-screening of the Acolyte show. What happened? Bright Suns, everybody, Batu Boy here, and I did something really cool yesterday. About a week and a half ago, Star Wars went and posted on their Instagram how they were going to be doing this super cool event in conjunction with Fandango, where they were going to show the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte, which I thought was crazy. I'm wondering how much tickets are going to be. Wasn't the case because the event was completely free. You just had to pick your theater, which in this case for me was the Disney Springs AMC, and select how many tickets that you needed. And pretty much just show up and hope that you get into the theater, because this was a first come, first serve event. Because it's free, I mean, they're gonna have a whole bunch of people try and get in. So that was the case for this. Luckily, I was able to get the day off, just drove over to Disney Springs at around, I'm gonna say 4 o'clock. And when I got in there, they kind of, I would like to say like they didn't really know what was going on, but I couldn't blame them. This was all kind of thrown together at the last second. They kind of told me that everybody should start lining up at around 5 o'clock and that there's gonna be a line, you can't miss it. So I took it upon myself. I went and walked around Disney Springs for a little bit. I met up with my friend Ty. We usually do a lot of Star Wars things together with a couple other friends. So we linked up and we're there waiting because they said that they weren't gonna do anything until 5 o'clock. And all of a sudden we text Ricky, Pop the Bounty Collector. He is like, oh, I'm already in line. And it's 5:15. He sends us a picture and there's literally just this huge line. So literally my friend just like shoves his White Castle that he bought and we just start heading over to the theater, because when we look outside there's no line. There still isn't one. We go in, we show them our confirmation email and they tell us to go through. I'd say like about like the middle of the theater, they had these down and backs, like in a queue where people go like this, this, and this. And it was full of people. Up until this moment, like we've been told that it's gonna be in Auditorium 9, which is super small. We're thinking, I don't know if we're gonna get into this screening. So we get in line, they close it off like maybe 2 people behind us. We then see that they're setting up a second section of the queue, just like back by the theater behind us. So I'm thinking like, okay, we're probably gonna get in if they're roping this off into 2 different sections. All of a sudden, we get blessed. They tell us, oh, we're not going into Auditorium 9, we're going into Auditorium 1, which is the Dolby Theater, which at this point, I'm like, okay, we're definitely getting in. This Dolby Theater is 3 stories tall. It's a huge theater. It's comfortable. It's got recliners. We're good. We're gonna be okay. Throughout the day, leading up to the event, they go and give us all wristbands, because once you have that, you're in. You're gonna be getting into this screening. They then also announce that they're going to be giving away free drinks and free popcorn, which is amazing. And I wish I would have known that before I went and spent my AMC Stubs rewards on a drink and some cookie dough bites, which I'm glad I got those because they weren't going to be giving those away. But I mean, it was super awesome. They started lining us up and they had a photo op, kind of like a red carpet premiere or anything that you would see like at Celebration, with like the title of the show, with the Disney Plus logo. Is pretty great. The Dolby Theater is right up there with IMAX in my opinion. Like I love both formats, but Dolby for me is a lot more accessible. It's a good large format theater, and the biggest thing about it is just the sound systems. Every like just giant thump you hear, it shakes the theater, and not like in a 4DX like weird type of way. So we get in there, me and my buddies, we go take a picture in front of that little photo op with the Acolyte logo. Get into the theater and they have all of these tables and cups set up with popcorn and drinks for us to go and refill. We get into our recliners and we're set for the event. And I mean, just off of the event alone, it was much more organized than I would say like the 4th marathon. The theater that we were at was huge. It was great. It just wasn't the recliners that you're gonna be sitting in for 24 hours. I wouldn't say a lot more fun. It was, you know, kind of like what I said in my May the 4th video, the shameless plug right over here. It kind of just felt like a mini celebration. You're watching the show with people who love this entity just as much as you do. It's just fun. Everybody's like in cosplay. People brought lightsabers. There was a lot of High Republic cosplay, which was super fun, super awesome. Getting us ready for it. There was a couple trailers for some Disney movies. And then we just jump right in. We're watching The Acolyte in the Dolby Theater before everybody else can. Again, this is a spoiler-free review, so I'm not going to go into story beats or any sort of details or character names or anything like that. It's fun. I really liked it. A lot of episode 1 is just kind of narrative building. They're kind of just introducing all the characters to you for the most part. Just really diving you into that this is not the Skywalker saga. This is years, and this is all information that's already known, like going into it. Oh, there's some stuff on my hat. This is 100 years before the events of Phantom Menace, so still in the High Republic era, so the Jedi are at their highest in power. There's peace across the galaxy. There's this symbiotic, peaceful relationship between the Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic. That is what we're thrown into. The fighting sequences are top-notch. They are so good. The characters themselves, like it really engrosses you back into Star Wars, like into a new era of Star Wars that not a lot of us are very familiar with. I mean, they have comics about it. They've had plenty of games about it, like Knights of the Old Republic, which is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And this new line of novels that they've been putting out. We're just missing just this last little bit of just having it as a live screen adaptation, because I know we got a couple beats of it, like in Rebels and in the Clone Wars. But this is us getting our first kind of full bite and dive into this era of Star Wars. From the first 2 episodes, it gives you a lot. I know that tonight it's going to be the 2-episode premiere of the show. I believe around 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern time on Disney Plus. So you'll be able to go and see it for yourself tonight. I mean, just overall, like, the show was fun to watch. The event itself was really great just with the atmosphere. And while we're exiting, they go and they give us this Acolyte poster, which, I mean, again, it's super cool that this event was completely free. I didn't have to spend a single dime except some AMC rewards points, but I'm going to let that slide. But essentially, the event was free. You got to go. You just had to show up to fill seats. The whole team, like, running the event, once, like, we all knew what was going on, were super fun. They knew exactly who was coming to this event, and they just made it a blast. Just to get even that poster for free is super cool. So, I mean, in my mind, this show is gonna be fun. They introduced enough in the first 2 episodes to kind of give you a feel for how the show's gonna be and what it's going to be. I can say that, just spoiler free, that it feels like Star Wars. The humor is there, the emotion is there, the story is there, and I just hope that everybody can go into it with an open mind and enjoy it for what it is. It's a new piece of Star Wars media in an era that we're finally getting introduced to and getting a feel for, and it's not something relating to the Skywalkers or to that saga in general. I know with Andor, I mean, it's one of my favorite shows, and I love that it still gets into the nitty-gritty of what's going on outside of the Jedi Sith portion of the story, but it still relates back to something that you're pretty much familiar with. This is just the same thing. It's just now you're going into like how the Jedi were before Phantom Menace before their rise to political power, and it's getting into that world and giving you a piece of it. And I thought it was super fun, and you'll be able to get to watch it tonight on Disney Plus, and I'll probably rewatch it again just for fun. And because I usually like watching stuff a couple more times, just because, you know, when you're in the Dolby Theater and you're watching it with everybody for the first time, it's overwhelming, and I just want to pick up on some little things that I may have missed here or there. But overall, the show is fun. The experience was top notch. It was fantastic, and I hope that you guys get to enjoy The Acolyte as well. Thank you all for watching. I'll be going into a much more deep dive into The Acolyte once it is officially released, and we will go from there. Again, a huge thank you to Disney Plus, to AMC Theaters, to Fandango for hosting this free event, because again, it's something that I won't forget. It truly felt like celebration back in Orlando, and it was just so much fun. Once again, everybody, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more Star Wars content, and make sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think of The Acolyte before or after you watch it, and we can have a nice civilized discussion about it. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Until the spire, my friends.